ground down here. Yep, confirmed. It's going towards Hillcrest in Alvin, Texas. I'm gonna have to clean this real quick. And this could be a strong tornado. It at least was strong a little while ago. And currently, it's not a PDS tornado warning as of yet, but it is a confirmed tornado on the ground. There it is. Got a little debris signature there. Velocity. We can quite see a tight couplet. We are currently waiting to see if this does get stronger. It was probably at its strongest about right there. Where we saw that brighter red. That's probably about where the tornado was at its strongest. It's still moving off to the northeast towards Hillcrest at around 30 miles per hour, possibly faster than that. Keeping an eye on storms to pop up out here in Louisiana and Mississippi. Also waiting to see if a PDS severe weather or tornado watch gets issued out there. I do have my TV up as well, so I'll be able to check for any comments you guys might leave behind. I'm going to set up my laptop so I can see, or my school laptop anyways, I'm gonna, so I can get updates from the Storm Prediction Center. And it looks like that rotation just got stronger again near Hillcrest. Where did my laptop's charger go? Stand there. There you go. There we are. That's the National Storm Prediction Center. Storm Prediction Center has also talked about a high risk, a max level high risk. Morning up north. There you go. Kentucky, thank you. Who's up with you? PC. Okay, there we go. Yep, got my live stream back up and running. We do still have this tornado on the ground south of Hillcrest. It looks like it's taking a turn to the east, and it hopefully will miss downtown Hillcrest. And I do know this is a populated area. We are currently looking at, there's a new mesoscale discussion. The severe threat continues across tornado watches 718, 719. The best chance for tornadoes will be with storms embedded in the conference bands. And, oops, did not mean to do that. Let's go ahead and go back in. Storm Prediction Center. We do have at least 5 reported tornadoes so far. Currently, nothing new. Really, I don't think we have a PDS tornado watch yet. We don't have a tornado PDS watch yet. And we still have this tornado on the ground near Hillcrest. There it is. That is the tornado right there. This is coming close to Hillcrest, League City to the northeast, along with Dickinson and Santa Fe to the east. This storm looks like it's trying to take more of an eastern path. We can still see debris. See that pink in there? That is going to be a debris that's probably most likely homes that have been wafted into the air. And this did hit an RV park from what I can recall, what I heard about earlier. We still have these storms up here to the north. I want to see if I can get to a closer radar site. Is that any better? No, that's not much better. Currently, this is still ongoing tornado from what I can see on radar. Currently, it is going south of Hillcrest, still populated area. Hopefully it does miss downtown Hillcrest. This was likely a strong tornado that was on the ground, or still on the ground. It looked to be a strong tornado. We saw a debris ball right there near Hillcrest. This was a strong tornado for sure. Got a line of supercells marching east right now, and we're waiting. This is only like the first wave, too. This is only the first wave of storms, and this is eventually going to march east and form into a squall line, producing winds that can get up as high as 90 to even 100 miles per hour. Out ahead of it, looking out into this area, we're waiting for isolated supercells to spring up and become tornadic. Out here in the moderate risk, we could see a high risk as well in there. From Louisiana and Mississippi, we're waiting for a much higher tornado risk to pop up there. We've already had around half a dozen of tornadoes today here in Texas, and one in apparently West Louisiana, according to the Storm Prediction Center. Velocity still showing a tight couplet there. Correlation coefficient continuing to show a tornado on the ground, continuing to show debris in the air. And reflectivity, luckily not showing much debris. It is a weakening. The tornado should be weakening now. Let's see here, make sure this is up, which is good. This is still 3 tornado warnings up right now. 3 warnings. And we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings as well. No confirmed tornadoes up in these 2 warnings. This one further to the south is going to be allowed to expire. This one further to the north still has a hook on it. That's still rotating. And it looks like this storm down here might have strengthened again. Yeah, there's the debris. That's the debris ball. That is where that tornado is currently at. Going back to velocity, there's a new warning somewhere. It's going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning. And right here, there is a tornado possible tag with this. So let's go and check this out. Oh yeah, there's definitely a hook with that. This is in Louisiana, and here we can see some clouds and some storms starting to spring up. South of Arkansas near Pine Bluff, we do have a severe thunderstorm up here. No tornado possible tag with that yet. We could see it because yeah, there's some rotation here. We got that hook. We have some of that rotation there in Louisiana. These are all heading northeast. Eventually, supercells are going to pop up here and take control of these storms are just going to start taking control of the atmosphere. We do have a new 9th warning up somewhere. Let's check that out. Current only tornado warnings are in Texas, including this one. This is the only one on the ground as we know of currently. And it still is on the ground. It passed southeast of Hillcrest, but this is still a populated area. So we still need to keep an eye out ahead of this. If this storm could continue producing that tornado, and if it continues on the ground, we could see this tornado damage in areas such as Dickinson, League City, and even as far east as Santa Fe. We're going to have to keep a very, very close eye on this thing. And we're waiting for the 2 o'clock update for that possible high risk. It's currently 1:13 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 2:13 Eastern Time. And we're still watching this ball of a supercell to move northeast towards more populated areas. Out here in Louisiana, we do have, it looks like at least some small hail, we're going to quarters to maybe ping pong ball size hail. And we also have these cells out here we need to watch closely. They're small, unorganized, which is good, but what's not good is that they're entering a environment with a lot of instability, a lot of shear. So we could be looking at these supercells. They're just little baby storms. They're currently just little baby storms. But we could be looking at one supercell. Like, for example, we'll take this itty bitty cell right here going over Rose Pine, Louisiana. With that one supercell could it just go up and take control of the atmosphere with its brothers and sisters and drop a massive mile-wide tornado. That's what we could see out of some of these cells. Going back to these tornado warning storms, this one is practically expired. Yep, that one's expired. This tornado warning still moving, going on, and these storms are moving faster as well, at around 40 miles per hour now. This storm, there's the couplet, still a tornado on the ground. Correlation coefficient, there's the debris. This tornado is still definitely on the ground. It's not a PDS warning, which means it's not a large tornado, but it can certainly still be. Still be a strong tornado. 2 tornado warnings currently in effect. Let's go up here into Arkansas real quick. We have this storm producing some winds. Currently no rotation in it that I could see. This will be moving to the northeast. There's a lot of rain and probably a few thunderstorms up here, but currently nothing tornadic. Going back down to the south, we might see a new tornado warning go ahead for out here in that general area. We're going to look at velocity. Definitely a weakening tornado, which is good. We have a weakening tornado still on the ground, moving east, northeast. We still see a debris ball, which isn't very good. Currently waiting for a new radar scan, possibly a new tornado warning. Again, this is a weakening tornado. And tomorrow we will be dealing with another slight risk tomorrow as well, so we're going to be waiting for that. This tornado, you can clearly see that track there moving from east, around southwest Hillcrest across the east. I don't think it went straight through downtown Hillcrest, but it definitely got pretty dang close, but luckily it passed barely just to the south of that. We're still looking at some rotation there, southwest of Warren, Texas. And again, as these storms head into Louisiana and Mississippi, they'll be hitting more wind shear, more atmospheric energy, and more instability, and they will produce multiple more tornadoes. This live stream could be going on for hours and hours and hours. And it looks like this is going to go over, almost looks like it might go right over the radar site if it continues going east. We got a new radar scan, but still showing a tornado on the ground as this storm continues moving to the east. Currently, we're awaiting for more tornadoes and waiting for these storms to move into a more favorable environment. Let's go back out here into Louisiana. This storm looks like we can see a hook beginning to develop. We got some inflow going into this storm. This supercell might be the first to produce a tornado. We can see all these other little cells starting to spring up. This is going to be what is going to start the more isolated cells and going to start that tornado outbreak we are expecting today. More isolated cells to the southeast around the Baton Rouge and New Orleans area. Waiting for these storms to grow and mature. Texas City, Dickinson, League City, prepare for another possible tornado warning. It looks like the storm is starting to re-strengthen again. Still got a tornado on the ground. And as the storm continues moving off to the east, we still have a debris signature, a CC drop. Waiting for this storm to just die off and go out into the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. And I haven't really seen this storm do all that much. I don't think this may not drop a tornado. It may drop a tornado. Not every single supercell will produce a tornado, but we still need to keep a very close eye on some of these cells. Going out here, let's go into Mississippi. currently some rain showers and storms out here. And we still have these isolated cells down to the south we need to keep an eye on in case they start to get a little funny and cause some chaos out there. Still have that strong couple. We have a couplet there still. And from what I could tell, it's starting to go into the radar site, so it's going to get harder to see. But it looks like we still have a tornado on the ground east of Hillcrest. And yeah, we can still see a little bit of pink spots in there around the velocity area. We're going to have to wait for that to pass that radar site. It's going to be difficult to tell. And we do have this storm up here entering near Louisiana-Texas border. Yeah, that's going to be hard to see. It's going to velocity. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in there because that's too far. Can't really tell of anything because it's just too far from any radar site. Anyways, we are still looking at possibility for a tornado on the ground here between Hillcrest and Santa Fe, Texas. And we do have a new warning somewhere. We have 9 now. This is still moving off to the east. We have Galveston down here. Sorry, I'm just looking around for it. Where is there another? There's flash flood. It says there's 9 warnings. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, that's it. Oh, okay, I see. Now there's. Yeah, okay. So we got tornado possible with that tag in Louisiana. Tornado possible here in Texas, like there, over Zavala, Texas, if I read that right. Tornado possible label with this storm, but that does have a tornado warning. And we do have a possible tornado still on the ground. This could still be a tornado. It could have weakened and dissipated. And that's what might have happened. I can't really see anything anymore, but this tornado should have lifted. And it looks like it's going to continue off into the east and go out into the Gulf of Mexico. And hopefully it'll weaken and dissipate out there. Going up here to Arkansas, we still have a lot of these storms. I don't think any of these are going to become tornadic across Arkansas, especially towards the north. These are just going to be some storms, some rain showers. That should be about it. But later this afternoon and evening, especially for southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana, we could still see some supercells spring up and cause a lot of property destruction. So still keeping an eye on there. Going south, we still have these storms, these 2 tornadic supercells. This one further to the south, hopefully it has more weakened. Hopefully it's not going to produce any more tornadoes or anything like that. And as these storms continue moving east, they'll tap into a much stronger, much worse environment. We currently still do have at least half a dozen tornadoes reported today. And looking at tomorrow, as far as I know, we have had around the same number, around half a dozen tornadoes yesterday as well. And yesterday, it was only a marginal risk, and the day before yesterday, we've had a dozen tornadoes, at least 12 tornadoes. So, keeping an eye on this today could be the worst out of the entire outbreak. We've got 4 days, 4-day stretch tornado outbreak going on. And we do have a new tornado warning. It is an observed tornado, so it still is on the ground. Is it by radar or... Yeah, it's going to be a radar-confirmed tornado. So this is still a tornado on the ground. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's the couplet again. This is going to be a tornado for sure. This is still going to be moving to the east, but it's pretty much right over the radar site, so it's going to be extremely difficult to 100% see it as this moves to the northeast and east. And today is going to be a busy day. As the storms move to the east and northeast, we are expecting for these storms to become more violent and rotate more and more. We've already seen this strong supercell out here in Louisiana pick up quite a bit. It looks like it's merging almost with another cell. This other cell down here also has a hook of its own, waiting for this to become possibly tornadic. Look at that, this little cell has a hook of its own. Both of these storms getting quite a bit of an inflow. These are heading northeast. So if these storms, as they continue moving northeast, I suggest Winfield, Alla, Clarks, Winnsboro, Rayville, Monroe, Louisiana, those towns should probably get prepared to get ready for any of these cells down here to become tornadic, because most of these storms do have a hook on them, so you need to keep an eye on those cells. Cells to the south starting to line up here. This cell has a little hook of echo on it now as well. Not tornadic yet. It looks like a hook echo on this one as well. And like I said, these storms are all entering a very favorable environment for these storms to produce strong, long track, even possibly violent tornadoes in the next few hours. This storm to the south, currently almost going over a radar site. We do have this cell right here, that couplet right there. That is going to be a tornado right there. That is a strong couplet, actually. We also have this cell out here to the west. That is not tornadic. Let's see, this should be hopefully close enough. Looking at velocity, here's the tornado right there. Correlation coefficient, we won't be able to see anything, which is a bit of a bummer, but we're going to have to everybody in Dickinson, southeast of League City, Battlefield, San Leon, north of Texas City, Lamarck, Texas. If you are under tornado warning, get to a safe spot, the lowest level of your house, tornado shelter. This is a major tornado outbreak underway now as these storms continue moving into a more favorable environment. Velocity isn't showing very strong rotation with these supercells into Louisiana, entering Montgomery and Atlanta, Louisiana. But these storms are pretty much the equivalent to newborn. And this specific supercell has kind of taken over the atmosphere currently in Louisiana as it moves off to the northeast. Anybody out in this area, Monroe, Farmersville, Bastrop, Rayville, Winnsboro, Winfield, even Jonesboro, Louisiana, needs to prepare for these supercells, or currently more than likely to be just one big supercell, one big bad supercell moving off to the northeast. And these are some populated towns, especially Monroe. And this is going to continue all moving to the east. We do have a new tornado warning now in effect for... Let's see here, switch to this radar site. We have a new tornado warning now in effect for this cell down here. This is looking up a couple 100,000, that's probably looking up 1,000 feet or so. But that does look like that has strengthened in the last little while. Yeah, that is a strengthening supercell. We do have rotation there without a doubt. Too far for me to check coalition coefficient or CC for a CC drop. Looks like there might be some new rotation south of that as well. Looking at this supercell down here, this tornado warning has expired. Alvin, Hillcrest, you are out of this tornado threat from this cell to the east. However, there is some cells out to the west that could develop. We could see some additional cells develop south of the main line. I'm not saying that there will be, but we could see that happen eventually. Like I said, a lot of these cells are still isolated, but at the same time, they're still kind of clumping together. However, this cell out here in Louisiana, this specific cell right here needs to be watched extremely closely. It's more dominant. It can pull in any of these storms into it to strengthen and feed itself. And if it can do that, we can definitely see a tornado pop out of this thing. We do have a hook here and a hook here going. We got some info for sure in these storms. It's not tornadic as of yet, but from what we can tell, there's no CC drop. And it looks like these are tornadoes. Like, that's what you may think, but they're not. And velocity showing some rotation, but not a lot. But like I said, this specific cell is becoming more dominant as it moves to the northeast. It looks like it could go on a direct path towards Monroe, Louisiana. Hopefully it doesn't, but it looks like it's going to go on that kind of path, and currently it's moving around 30 to 40 miles per hour. Yeah, 35 miles per hour, so it's kind of in between there as it moves off to the northeast. Going back out here into this storm down here, still, according to this radar, an observed tornado. We do have a distorted couplet in there. We got strong winds going into the cell. Currently, this is seeing 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, so it's a weaker tornado, but still a tornado if that is still on the ground and observed. Currently north of Santa Fe, Texas, and it looks like it's going to go in between Dickinson and Texas City. It goes out into the Gulf of Mexico. Once it does, it shouldn't become much of a threat again until down here along Grand Isle, Brass. And it looks like there are some cells out here as well developing. Is this a short radar? No, it's not. They also have a whole bundle of cells down here as well that need to be watched closely. Pretty much anything in this large area needs to be watched extremely closely due to how the environment is shaping up. We could see a high-end environment here in the next couple of hours as these cells spring up and enter Louisiana. Currently, this cell merger out here still going underway. Keeping an eye on this cell to become tornadic as it moves northeast towards Winfield and Monroe, Louisiana. Down here to the south, we still have this tornadic supercell that can produce another tornado. Here's that pretty distorted couplet right there. Extremely distorted at the moment. Double check a few things and restart this. No current mesoscale discussions. There is still tornado watches in effect. And currently the probabilities, we have a high 70% risk for tornadoes, a moderate 50% risk for a strong tornado or two, for a couple of strong tornadoes. Currently, we have had at least half a dozen tornadoes today. So far, we could see another dozen tornadoes. We could see a couple dozen tornadoes. We could see only 2 more tornadoes today, which is unlikely in this kind of environment. We could see, at least, I think, about a dozen tornadoes today, if not more. We could see at least... No, I think we will see at least 2 dozen tornadoes today. And here in the deep south, in this high-end environment, still have that hook, still these supercells developing out here. Still relatively young supercells, still rapidly developing. We need to keep an eye on these cells as they continue moving off to the northeast. Over Warren, Texas, we have that cell continuing to develop. We need to keep a close eye on that cell. Still currently a moderate risk for tornadoes and winds. The biggest cities currently in that moderate risk is Monroe, Louisiana, Alexandria, Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, south of Greenville, Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi, and Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So if you live in that red area, anywhere in those towns or anywhere around those towns, you could see a violent long track tornado or two. Still currently watching for that update later this afternoon around 3 o'clock Eastern time. We could see a new update, and we're still waiting for that currently. We need to be keeping an eye on these storms as they continue to mature, develop. To the south, still has not been upgraded. It's still currently defined as an observed tornado. Could obviously still be on the ground. It could have lifted, which is what most likely happened. Currently still waiting for any new information on that storm. Oh, yeah, that's extremely distorted now. That is going to go into, it looks like it might be including. If that does include Dickinson, if you live in Dickinson, Texas, you need to get to your safe spot immediately. As this moves off to the north now, it looks like the supercell is trying to include that, or it's just getting so distorted by the radar site, it's going to be extremely difficult to actually tell what is going on. We're going to have to wait for that to move out of the radar site. This tornado warning up here, still radar indicated rotation, still a warning as well. Some quarter-sized hail might be a threat in here as well. These storms are going to continue moving off to the east, northeast, at around 30 to 40 to even possibly some of these storms could get as fast as 50 miles per hour. And from the looks of it, this cell will hopefully miss. Where did Monroe get? There it is. So far, it looks like it might try to go on a direct path towards Monroe. Hopefully, it'll veer off to the side for a few miles. Hopefully, it does miss Monroe and Winfield. Because I do know Monroe is quite populated. And we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that as these cells continue tracking off to the northeast. Currently, no new tornado warnings that I can tell, but we do have a few severe thunderstorm warnings that do have a tornado possible label with them. Going down, let's see which cell this one would like to take me to. That storm up there over Warren does have a little bit of a hook on it. It needs to be watched really closely. Tornado possible label with that storm as well. We really need to keep an eye on these cells. It looks like this is going to be the closest radar site. We do have a whole lot of these little baby supercells out ahead of it. These are all going to be rotating, and all could become supercell, or they are supercells. They are all going to be rotating and could produce tornadoes off in the near future. This cell down here near Dickinson, Texas, currently, I don't know if there still is a tornado on the ground, but we can still see some pretty clear rotation there over Dickinson as that continues moving off, possibly looks like to the northeast. Yeah, it looks extremely distorted at the moment, so we're going to be waiting for that to continue moving off to the east at around 35 to 40 miles per hour. So here's going to turn on imping reports. Keep it on for hail, wind damage, tornado, and flood. There we go. We do have some wind damage out here near Spendora. This is where that tornado went through, was back here. This is where that tornado was before. We do have wind damage out here. This is that tornado damage. Trees uprooted or snapped, roof blown off out there near Porter Heights. I did hear about tornado damage out there. Wind damage, we do have more damage there as well. Flooding off to the southwest near Cyprus. College Station, that doesn't surprise me. They had a severe storm go through not long ago. We do have looks like a singular little hail report there in Dickinson, Texas. Still looking for anything around the area as well. Currently still only 2 tornado warnings in effect. We could see multiple more in the next 20 minutes as well. And stay down here at this cell. We still have we have a long streak of just thin rain showers south of this as well. Currently, this seems to be the strongest storm. We have what appears to be a fat hook echo right there. It's just absolutely a chunky, fat hook going into velocity. I think the radar site could be overdoing this quite a bit, but currently it's just too close to the radar to 100% tell if there really is a tornado on the ground or not, because it's currently it's still an observed label, but we're just going to have to wait for another 10 to 15 minutes for that to exit the area. Yeah, this is just all going to be tracking east, 30 to 35 to 40, 45 miles per hour. Still waiting for that 2 o'clock update. Yeah. Didn't get sleep last night. That's not going to be very good. Out here near Texas City, Dickinson, League City, we still have some of this rotation. There it is. There's the couplet. That's where the tornado will be. Oops. Hello? There we go. That's where the tornado will be. Right there, correlation coefficient. It might be showing some debris there. This could be a long track tornado. It started all the way out near just southwest of Hillcrest, moved off to the northeast and east. And if this still is on the ground, that's going to be this could be another strong tornado as this continues moving off to the east towards San Leon, Texas, Becliff, Texas. We're just going to have to keep a very close eye on all these storms as this continues moving to the east. And we have another new severe thunderstorm warning up here to the north. Going back down to this cell down here. That cell behind it collapsed. Pretty much completely collapsed. Still have a little bit of a hook on this storm. We have more isolated cells to the southeast of it as well. Any of these cells could become supercells and rotate and drop a tornado. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that as well. Out near League City, Texas City, still keeping an eye on this storm as well. These storms are just less than a mile by now from the Texas coast. That is where your tornado is going to be. It's roughly, a little more than a mile, but the direction it's going, see, it looks like it is starting to include, and if it is, then that's good. That means the tornado is going to weaken, but it is heading more up towards Becliff, Texas, which is only, I'm going to try to get better, nope. That's going to have to do roughly 2.5 to 3 miles out. This is still a possible tornado on the ground. I'm not seeing any CC drop. Well, there's definitely a CC drop there now. That is where the tornado is going to be. Finally got a CC drop. We do have, it's roughly in the same spot as the rotation as this continues moving off to the east. If this was one long track tornado, that has tracked about, take a rough estimate here, 15 to 16 miles, anywhere between 15 to 20 miles. This is a long track, strong tornado, or was once a strong tornado. Hopefully it is weakening. Hopefully it's weakening. But it looks like it did get stronger in the last few minutes. There it is. There's the tornado. South of Becliff, Texas. That is where it is emerging from the radar site. That is the tornado right there. It has emerged from the radar site. We have a much better view of it now. It went pretty much right under the radar site to a point where we couldn't see it with CC drops. This is a strong tornado. Still on the ground. That was the CC drop there. There it is. It has hit buildings. That is the CC. That is the CC drop. That is buildings, pieces up in the air right there. Looking at velocity. This is a strong, possibly a strong tornado as it gets closer to looks like a bay just north of Galveston. Got Port Bolivar Peninsula. This is going to go over some water, but it looks like it is going to continue moving kind of northeast. And if that does, it could affect, if it stays on the ground, out in Oakland, Texas, if this continues moving off to the northeast. And this has been on the ground for a very long time. This could track up to 20 miles. Oh my goodness. That is, how fast is that? We're seeing 118 mile per hour winds gusts right there. Window to window. This could be a strong tornado. This is still on the ground. There it is. That is your tornado still on the ground. It's been on the ground since southwest of Hillcrest, Texas, which is about 20 miles from this current location right here. South of Becliff, Texas. This is what we need to be watching out for. Wow, that is just insane. Dang. This is currently the only tornado on the ground that I know. Let's check out here near Warren. No tornado observed. Tag with that. We're currently keeping an eye on this one supercell right here. CC, it looks like, oh yeah, a lot of that disappeared, but it still should be on the ground. Hopefully it's weakening. Hopefully it lifts here in the next couple minutes. Currently, though, it looks like it still has a strong mesocyclone. And we're currently waiting for any reports to come out of this in case it does remain strong. And yeah, it looks like it's weakening now. That's a good sign. As still a pretty fat debris ball, not debris ball, reflectivity hook. There, as it moves off to the east. There's Baytown. I've been there before. And Baytown, you should be out of this specific storm. But Oakland, it's Stowell, High Island, even far south as Bolivar Peninsula, this area out here, this area out here needs to be keeping an eye on these storms as well. Make sure they, you can't let these storms get too rowdy without us keeping an eye on them. We do have some rotation on here, though. Do have some rotation out here in this supercell. Currently weaker rotation. It's pretty broad. No warning with this yet. But Monroe off to the northeast. Or Monroe, there it is. We got Monroe to the northeast of the storm. And like I said, there's multiple cells to the south of it as well that it needs to be kept an eye on. And it looks like, wow. Sorry, I just... Fudge. Ow. Okay, there you go. Out here near Notchitches, you got Montgomery, you got Atlanta, still currently in that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go back down to Texas City area, in the League City area. It's out here near Dickinson. It's not as much of a debris ball thing anymore. It still has an observed tag on it, and it's really, really difficult to see. But currently, it looks like it is starting to go out to sea, which is good. It's going to infect some boats, probably. Any fisherman out on the sea needs to dock their boats, get into a safe spot, as this tornado-warned storm continues moving offshore, and hopefully stays up through New Orleans. That we have a supercell out here now. I have a little bit of a headache now. Oh my gosh. Ow. Here in 10 minutes at 2 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and give my phone a little bit of rest, maybe charge it up a little bit, and I will be back in about probably an hour and a half, so that way, like, I can get a little bit, hopefully just rest my head for a bit. But also my phone's starting to heat up, which isn't good. I need to get a computer really, really soon, so that way I can go for more comfortable, longer live streams.